trying to do is increase that R1 million, that virtual money,
Yeah.
to try and increase that amount and see who gets the highest amount.
I know that we're dealing with the universities today. I'm very excited about that. Are there different portfolios between the university and the schools investment challenge?
So basically, we've got one game for the university competition.
Okay.
However, it does separate itself from the schools competition
Yes.
in the fact that what happens is that we've got single stock futures that are on the university game, which the schools does not have.
Okay, fantastic. So this a friendly reminder. This is a virtual game. There is virtual money. For those of you who want to join in on the fun, it is university@jse.co.za. I love to talk about prizes. It's all about wealth creation. Kickstart off in the R1 million virtual prize money, Ralph.
Yeah, so basically what happens is for the annual competition, there's 25,000 rands up for grabs.
Yep.
That's the top prize, and second prize is 20,000, and third prize is 15. But more importantly, is the annual prize, the 25,000 rand for first prize. You also got an all expenses paid trip to an international stock exchange.
If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. But more importantly, let's move on to our winners for today. They are VK Invest M8. All right, that's Dale Novus and Jared Greenstein. I'm sure he'll give me a rap over the knuckles about that later. But those are our monthly university winners for today, and we'll be introducing them to you a little bit later on the show. And just a word of advice for those of you who are watching, we do have a special JSE hamper up for grabs for the viewer who is most engaged in the topic of the day. And today's topic, and you can help me here, Rolf, is different methods of selecting shares. The little I know about investment, when we're talking about the methods of investing in your shares, I know there's fundamental and there is technical. Am I correct? Look at me looking at my notes.
Yeah, no, that's 100% right, and that's a major difference, completely different methods,
Yeah.
and it can take years of studies to go down that path, depending on which way you want to go. Some people like to combine the two, and yeah, that's what we would like to discuss.
Okay, fantastic. So that's just another friendly reminder to that special viewer who is most engaged when we talk about the topic of our show today, which is the different methods of selecting shares. You have a chance to win a beautiful JSE hamper prize. So I'm very excited to once again congratulate VK Invest M8. Are we going to see them on our screens? Say hi, guys.
Hello.
We'll be talking to you in a second, and that's Dale Novus and Jared Greenstein, Speculator Portfolio. Okay, we're going to take a break in a moment. We'll find more about VK Invest M8. Welcome back, everybody, and you're watching the JSE Investment Challenge. This is the Johannesburg Stock Exchange flagship financial literacy show. If you want to feel empowered, if you want to know more about investments, if you want to create more wealth for you and your loved ones and your future, this is the show to be part of. This is the challenge to do. So, as I said in the beginning of our show, we have our university winners for this month, and they are let me get VK Invest M8. Hello, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having
Hello.
us.
I'm so excited
Thanks
that
for
you.
having me.
I'm so excited. So it's Dale Novus and it's Jared Greenstein.
Greenstein, yes.
Greenstein. All right. I love the painting at the back. Is that what you do behind the scenes after you invest?
No, I wish I had that kind of talent.
Okay, so you guys are the winners of the speculator portfolio. Rolf, could you just unpack the speculator portfolio for us?
Yeah, so basically what it is that you can invest in shares, warrants, and single stock futures.
Okay.
And that's the single stock futures are the top 40. You can invest with the R1 million. You can spend up to 20% in one company. And the objective is to try and get the highest return by the end of September.
VK Invest M8. Dale and Jared. Tell us about the name and the team. Like, what is that all about? M8, VK. Okay, break it down. Break it down.
So the VK, we're not 100% sure where that came from. I think that was added on the team somewhere. But the Invest Mates or Invest M8 is the name that we came up with. It didn't take a lot of strategizing, I'll be honest. Very much spontaneous and on the spot. But yeah, just a play on the word investment, invest mates, investing
Stunning.
with your mates, I suppose.
Stunning.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? So tell me a little bit more about yourself. So besides from investing, and we're going to go more into your strategies and what you've learned the hard way. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Family life, how's lockdown treating you? Has this affected your strategies at any point in time? Who are the biggest motivators in your investment journey? Yeah, talk to us.
So the lockdown's been interesting. I think in a way it's been good for our investment strategy because we try to use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
Been very different adjusting to it though, doing university at home. We both studying accounting sciences at Wits.
Yeah.
So that's also constant work, as I'm sure Jared will also mention. But yeah, it's been a very interesting experience and very interesting to learn about the stock exchange and the markets and everything, especially during such an interesting time.
Jared, what are your other hobbies besides from investing and being very good, clearly at it, since you guys are our monthly winners? What else do you like to do?
So definitely, as Dale said, I spend a lot of my time just getting through the work for the week, especially having to be at home. I think when I like to take a break, I try to play the piano. I've loved music for all my life. If I get the chance, I try and get behind a camera as well. I have a love for photography,
Beautiful.
so I dip myself around in a few areas that I enjoy.
So, Dale, your family life, brothers, sisters, parents, dogs, cats, tell us a little bit more. Where's the love? Where does the love come from? Where does the love go to?
So at home, it's just me and my dad. I have an older sister who stays with her boyfriend. Yeah, that's my family situation at the moment. As well, got a good supportive girlfriend who happens to be watching right now. And yeah, that's my system at home. That's my situation.
Are they also quite interested in your investment love? How do they feel about you doing the JSE investment challenge?
I think they like to think that they're interested or that they come across as interested. But, I think they kind of just nod their heads and say, well done, and not 100% knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good, but yeah.
And Jared, tell us about your family and home life.
So just me, my mom, and my dad. That's where the love is coming from, as you said. My parents are absolutely wonderful, incredibly supportive. They really have given me every single opportunity I could possibly ask for. Very, very, very grateful for them. Also wonderful to have my dad as a springboard to speak about the challenge and ask for advice or get told where I'm really on the wrong track, which happens.
Yeah.
And some of the down months can perhaps attest, but again, I must say I really am lucky to have my wonderful, wonderful parents.
So both to Dale and Jared, is there anyone you want to give a shout out at Wits to keep you guys going while we do this kind of Q&A? Shout out to any of your colleagues and peers and your classmates at Wits. Dale, you want to start?
Yeah.
Not your girlfriend, Dale.
I already gave her the one shout out that I promised her, so
Yeah.
that's over and done. Just, I guess, a shout out to all the accountants at Wits.
Yeah.
Everyone whose lives are slightly being ruined by financial accounting. But yeah, to all the accountants at Wits.
Jared, shout out.
I think the shout out must go to our other two team members, Guy Lemmer and Tamar Lewis. You guys are absolutely wonderful. And we just hope that in these last few months of the challenge, we can push ourselves just that little bit further.
That lead us on the scoreboard. We're going to touch base on that later. Ralph, back to you. How are the monthly winners determined?
So on a monthly basis, what we do is we reset the scoreboard. Each month it goes back to 0, and we look for the highest growth at the end of the month. And it's not a normal particular month like ending today. We've got our own dates. So if anyone wants to see those dates, they would need to go onto the website under important information, and you would find the dates that we follow. It's basically the middle of each month that it ends. And then that way we determine who's at the top of that scoreboard with the highest return for that month.
I love it. And later on in the show, we're going to take a look at some graphs just to determine and to interpret winners, who's on the leader scoreboard, and, you know, just some nuances and trends that you can find or you can learn from. And that's why we are here at the JSE Investment Challenge. You know, Ralph, I'm going to hand it over to you. I think you can kickstart the conversation on the team's approach to their winning strategies. Over to you, Ralph.
Okay, gents, thank you so much, Klubi. So maybe I could start off with wanting to understand maybe we can start up a bit of money management. You know, we said 20% that you can spend in any particular company. Are you spending all 20% in the companies that you go and buy, or are you a little bit more prudent? How do you guys decide how much you're going to spend in each particular company?
Lovely.
So I think in general, we do believe that it's good to be diversified and spread out your risk and all of that good stuff. But in a challenge like this, where, you know, we need to get the biggest returns, the approach that Jared and I kind of took is we use a mixture of a technical and a fundamental approach, not so much fundamental as in the balance sheets or income statements of the companies, but more like underlying commodity prices of gold or platinum, palladium, and sort of like a global macro approach, what's going on in the world, you know, with the COVID, with all the uncertainty that's going on. And so we found really what we thought were really good, safe, high value picks. And I think mainly stuck with those. We did take a few punts here and there with smaller amounts, in order to see, you know, if it would pay off, and just as a little bit of an experiment. You know, this whole challenge is a great learning experience, so we also use that just to learn. But yeah, I think we mainly just stuck with what we felt were strong picks given the current situation in the world.
Maybe a follow-up question to that, Dale. Maybe to Jared, just asking, so when it comes to, obviously you talked about commodity prices and things like that. Obviously, I take it that you've dipped into that sector. Any gold companies that you particularly have held or are still holding? And maybe you can tell us if you are still holding them, and you know, which companies have you been interested in?
Absolutely, Ralph. So our strategy really takes its footing way back in March when this all started. COVID-19 was starting to come to the forefront, especially in South Africa. On the 15th of March or the 14th of March, I think the president announced the national state of disaster. And at that point, the big buzzword within the JSE market space, I think the world market space, was twofold. It was gold as the haven against a possibly falling market, especially with American markets being as strong as they were at the time. They were incredibly strong. Analysts were very concerned about potential downside at that. So gold was starting to look quite good. And then from there was also the PGM space, platinum group metals, platinum, palladium, rhodium, which are mainly used in the production of catalytic converters for cars. All those commodity prices were really running hard, and some at points reaching just all-time highs day after day.
Wow.
And from there, what we said was, well, that's the sector we want to look at, especially given the high volatility of those underlying commodities, that we could leverage off of that. So looking at gold companies, Harmony Gold has been a long-standing member of our portfolio. It's performed nicely for us. We've recently dipped into DRD Gold, which is 50.1% held by Sibanye. They specialize in tailings. So the is a little bit different. Sibanye now having sold some sorry, I haven't even mentioned Sibanye, having now sold some of those gold assets, but still very much involved in the gold space. So those are our real gold tickers that have formed a part of the portfolio.
You know what? Just on touching base on your answer, Ralph, what I'm finding was going to be my next question, my next question is, which sector are you really focusing in now? And clearly that's mining for your team. But also I'm finding, especially after doing the show a couple of times, that you actually do have to have a sense of general knowledge, not just on the African continent, but globally, to help you make a good and productive and concise decisions. Am I right, team? VK? In your strategy, I mean, you have to read, you have to keep up to date with the nuances and trends in the stock exchange and on the global markets.
100%.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is really important to understand is that the markets are often driven by investor emotions as well as sentiment. So
tell us more about that. Tell us more about that. That sounds amazing. Investor emotions.
Yeah, so basically the way that I like to look at markets versus the economy is that the economy is backwards looking, and that sort of like brings up your GDP, you know, all the data of stuff that's come through the past, whereas your stock exchanges and your markets are forward looking, and it's your future expectation of kind of what the future will look like. So a lot of that built into that is sentiment and emotions of investors. So one thing that Jared and I were very aware of and able to capitalize on is the fact that during times of uncertainty and high emotion, a lot of investors tend to go to safe havens such as gold in order to like hedge their bets against a potential falling market. So I think just being able to identify that and know what's going on in the world helped us quite a bit.
Ralph, investor emotions, can you give us a high-level definition or clarification on that?
You know, I like to keep it very simple and really just say that at the end of the day, us as humans, we've got fear and greed.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that you'll have a lot of people that are very it's a wrong term to say very greedy, but are very bullish or really want to jump into the market or don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
And so instead of missing out, they see the gold price running.
Yeah.
They might be new to investing and they want to catch the train of gold, and then they'll jump in and it'll push the price up because they're bidding at a higher price. So we call it greediness. And then what will happen is all of a sudden you'll find gold start pulling back this week, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, and next minute there's a lot of fear in the market, and then you find a lot of selling pressure. So that is really where the emotions come in. It plays a major role in investing about, do I hold my nerve? Do I keep that share that's busy falling now? And your emotions will then trigger whether you're going to keep that share or not. And so that is a very important part of investing. I'd probably say it contributes 60, 70% towards the success of investing is being able to manage your emotions when trading. And that's why a lot of people actually like to have a mechanical approach where they don't use their emotions, or they try to get rid of their emotions by actually quantifying something and deciding based on figures and not looking at just what's happening out there.
Beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. Jared, What have you learned most about yourself as a trader, as an investor? What's a great characteristic trait that you've picked up along the way? Look at that smile.
I think the smile is more. It just hits home exactly how correct Ralph is, that
Yeah.
the emotions of the market are a very, very fickle thing, and they you can have a great week and then that can all get wiped out in 2 days.
Yeah.
So having said that, I think hold the ability to hold your nerve,
Yeah.
and just have faith in yourself and your team that the strategy you've chosen is the right way to go, that the rally is going to continue. We're not out of the thick of it, out of the thick of the COVID uncertainty yet.
Yeah.
I think that's something I've had to learn.
Yeah.
And the second thing probably would be to say is that it's okay to take a more medium-term view, despite the fact that there's a lot of short-term uncertainty. We bought stocks way back in March, and we've held them till now.
Yeah.
Doing things in between, trying to look around for a good deal. But I think the core of our portfolio has stayed very, very constant, and that has been, there's been many an opportunity to sell. Certainly many a technical opportunity and perhaps a fundamental opportunity to sell. But the fact that we've held our nerve has allowed us to achieve really, really good returns in very, very fantastic companies.
I love the fact that this is a virtual game, Ralph. So you're actually really embedding great habits, great lessons, and a great skill set before you use your own hard-earned cash. And that's really significant for me when it comes to this challenge. Anything on your side do you have to add to that, Ralph? And you can ask the next strategy question while you're at it.
Clibby, you're 100% correct. You know, it's so important to be able to learn without having any risk attached to it.
Yeah.
And obviously then getting your real money, taking it and being able to trade. And so that's exactly what the students are able to do. And, you know, if they play it the same way that they're going to do it with real money and realize that every cent counts, it's so important. You know, it's not just because it's fictitious, you can do whatever you want with it. You need to really practice that. When I do this, I'm going to be doing it the same way I do it, as if it was my own money.
Perfect.
But getting on to the gents, maybe another question, Dale, would be, you know, as far as you talked a lot about technicals, you said a little bit more technicals than fundamentals. Is there anything in particular? Are there any indicators that you like to use? Do you have any thing that you would use as a team when using technicals?
I'd say Jared's favorite technical is probably the stochastic. Jared always phones me up and says, look at the stochastics on this. So we did look at that, but also stuff like moving averages, the MACD, relative strength index. I don't like to use too many though at one time. I often find it can confuse me a little bit, but usually sticking to like our stochastic or our relative strength index, just to see like kind of where the market momentum is, where the volume is. That kind of helped us during this challenge.
And so because you guys are looking at a longer term view, would you then be looking at more of like a weekly chart instead of the daily ups and downs, because it has been extremely volatile? So are you looking at it in a broader sense to be able to keep on holding those shares?
I think that whilst we've taken a somewhat longer term view, our buying decisions are very much based in that daily chart. So if the daily stochastic is really giving a strong buy and we're happy with that, that's what we're using to make those decisions. Because we've taken a mix of the fundamental and technical approach, there have been technical sells that we've chosen not to exercise. And the reason is because we just believe fundamentally that gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium are so strong, and we see that continuing for the foreseeable future. We decided to then override those technical indicators. But if I could perhaps just add on to what Dale has said, we've looked at all of those things. We've also looked at candle analysis, looking for certain shaped candles to give buy signals, sell signals. We've looked at Bollinger Bands in the style of the now. Sorry, the name has escaped me, but one particular method we used was adding a Bollinger Band to a MACD to give some kind of indication of when that MACD momentum would change.
Ralph, as I'm listening to this, I don't want people who have just pulled in and listening to this conversation not knowing what the different terms and jargons and terminology is. I think that's why it's so beautiful to be able to unpack this with you in studio with us. Statistical, that's the first thing I wasn't unsure about. Could you define that for us? And as we close this segment of the show, VK Invest M8, please could you inform us on what books or what websites or who you go to inform yourself more about investing? Okay, Ralph, over to you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Just on the stochastic indicator, basically, it's a momentum indicator. You like to use it when you've got at around 80%, it's really overbought. At about just below 20%, when it's starting to come out of 20% and move up, people like to then go and buy it. So, you can go and read up about it on the internet. There's loads of websites to do with the stochastic. But it's a stochastic, yeah. I could be saying it technically incorrect, but that's how I say it.
We're all here to learn. We're all here to learn. Yes, continue.
Yeah. So that's one of many different indicators. At the end of the day, there's many parameters around the stochastic that you've got, and so you can play around with it, make it more short term, make it more long term. But it's really, at the end of the day, you've got to find an indicator or find something that suits your personality as a team, and then stick to that and use it.
Beautiful. So, Invest M8. Let's close up the segment of the show with one book that you both really enjoy to help you become better investors.
Books, nothing comes to my head straight away, but my favorite thing to do is listen to podcasts.
Fantastic. Yes. I get excited when I hear the word podcast. Dale, continue. Yes.
Yeah. I listen to a few different podcasts. One that's my favorite is called the Investors Podcast Network. There's a few different investing podcasts on that. I literally walk around my house while I'm making breakfast, while I'm doing whatever, listening to these podcasts. And I just find, like, when I first started listening to them, I had no clue what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I was hearing about, like, all these extreme
Stochastics.
financial terms. Exactly. I was hearing all these terms I didn't understand. But what I found is from over time, just listening and just picking things that I could understand, I was able to eventually learn more. And now when I listen to it, I'm able to, like, fully understand what they're speaking about. And I think it's just from exposing myself to that sort of information, hearing people discuss it. And that's why I love listening to podcasts on it.
You can tell I'm from a different generation. I'm still on books. And you guys are on podcasts. Okay, educate me. Yes, I get it. Old granny. Jared, what empowers you? What tools empowers you?
So a great book that I read at the start of the year was it's called Stock Charts for Dummies.
Stunning. Love it. Yes.
Very, very simply and very concisely just explains a lot of the technical indicators that Dale and I have used over the year.
Beautiful.
It's not terribly long, not too terribly complicated. And other than that, I think I'd speak to my dad constantly.
Yeah.
Ideas bouncing off one another. Two other incredibly knowledgeable individuals would be Advocate Brian Goldberg in Cape Town, who I've known for many years and is just very, very knowledgeable in this space, as well as Mr. Henry Blumenthal from Investec Securities, also an incredibly knowledgeable man who has given great advice over many years.
No wonder the two of you, VK Invest M8, are our monthly winners. Congratulations for the university competition. We will be back and speaking about our annual competition. But before we go to our next link, just a gentle reminder that there is a fantastic and special JSE hamper prize up for grabs. See you in a moment. Hi everyone, it's me again, Subimboya Arnold, and you are watching the JSE Investment Challenge. I hope you're having a good time because I'm having a great time and I am learning so much from VK Invest M8, our university monthly winners. Congratulations, guys. They are so smart. They are so smart. But you know what? We're not here to make anyone feel less smart than anyone else because we're all here to learn on our investment journey. Thank you so much, Ralph, for always being available to all of us with some technical expertise when it comes to our fears and woes and investing. So moving on to the segment of the show, we're going to talk about the annual competition. Over to you, Ralph.
Yeah, so with the annual competition, there's current, obviously the teams are competing for the top prize,
Yeah.
and they wanting to do extremely well. We had one of the last monthly winners, I think 2 or 3 months ago, Nkunzi, that is still on top of the scoreboard, and hopefully we'll be able to see the charts.
Sorry to interject. I remember Nkunzi, and they were hell-bent on staying on the leaderboard. So you all got a lot of work to do to knock them off the leaderboard, all right? Should we go to some
100%.
over to you. Sorry for that interjection. Yes, Ralph?
Yeah, it would be lovely if we can see those charts. Maybe we can just take the viewers through those charts and just show the current. There's the current monthly chart, and that's the monthly the chart as far as Jared and Dale have performed, and they've done very well there on the monthly side. And you can see that chart over there that basically them coming out now in June on top. You can see in May, maybe they can talk to what happened in May, but clearly something happened in May. Maybe Jared, you can tell us what happened there.
What happened in May, VK? What happened in May?
So what happened around then was the commodity prices that we were looking at. So gold, platinum, palladium had a bit of a horizontal consolidation. There was a lot of very, very rapid growth in the start of the year. And then from there, it just settled down to an extent. And since then, especially now since COVID has really ramped up in Europe and in the US, and since China now came back online, Chinese production being really now at full capacity once again, so that demand side coming back in, it's now pushed those prices back. And that was the incredible contributing factor to this last month.
Wow.
Because as those underlying commodities ran, so too did the stocks, along with a depreciating rand, which is helped
correct
due to the rand.
Correct. Dale, do you want to add to your teammate?
Yeah. If I can just add there as well, you were talking about how this whole challenge is about learning. And I mean, for Jared and us as well, I think one thing that also happened during May that he didn't mention is we were experimenting a bit with warrants and single stock futures.
Yes.
And so we may have made a little bit of a loss on those. And I think that's the great thing about this challenge is that, you know, Jared and I saw these warrants and these single stock futures, and at first we thought, what the heck is a warrant? And then we went and we thought ourselves about it, and we you know, like messed around with it, tried a few different things that we wouldn't usually try.
Yeah.
And yeah, we learned our lesson from that.
It's so awesome that you guys are so authentic in your journey. You know, even though you are winners, you still are not sure about what you're doing and if it's the right thing. And it's all a process, and it's about trusting the process. Should we move on to the next graph, Ralph?
That'll be lovely.
Just before you start, Rolf, sorry, just a quick reminder, there is a Q&A that's going to be open in the second after this graph. And don't forget, the most engaged viewer stands a chance to win that beautiful JSE hamper. Over to you, Rolf.
Okay, so we've just been shown that the overall graph over there, and really you can see Nkunzi doing still extremely well. I can see that, you know, they were really risk adverse and they were really trying to manage their risk, and I think that's kept them in good stead. Continuously, just gradually keeping the pace above the other teams. But I do believe the likes of VK, they're very close. I think you guys are in 6th or 8th position. And so, you know,
Ooh.
the game's not you know, as they say, the game's not finished until the end of September. So I believe that we could still see a lot change in the scoreboard. And, you know, especially as if the commodity prices kept on rising and if they kept on holding these stocks. Probably the bigger challenge that some of the top teams has is if they, you know, they're all probably in the same sector. You know, then you've got to know like who's holding what to be able to outsmart the other one.
Ralph, as you're speaking about them coming up to the leaders, I just saw fire in their eyes. Do you have anything to add, VK? I see that competitive edge. I can see it. Yes, talk to us.
So I mean, in the last 2 days were certainly interesting on the JSE. There was some big profit taking in the mining sector. All the stocks that we were looking at, and even the ones we haven't been looking at, your Anglo Americans, your Kumba Iron Ores. I mean, companies like ArcelorMittal was down 26% yesterday. So there was a lot of what we think is profit taking happening.
Yeah.
And in these last 2 days, I think that's what hurt us. 2 days ago we were in 2nd position, and now we're in 6th.
Wow.
And that's how quickly it can happen.
Yeah. I think that also makes for exciting times, you know, an exciting game and a challenging game, hence investment challenge. It keeps you on your toes. What else? Any last words from you, teammates, VK?
Yeah, I just think it's been a great experience, this whole thing for Jared and I. Spent a lot of time strategizing, speaking about the markets, which Jared and I always love to do. And I just think the main thing that it's taught me is to make decisions for myself. You know, I think it's such an important thing for in the stock market, especially. Like you'll hear that someone's uncle gave them a tip on the hottest stock, you know, at the moment, or someone will say, oh, we should buy gold. Everyone's doing it. And I think the most important thing that I've learned is make decisions for yourself. And, you know, even if other people don't agree with your decisions, be able to listen to their advice and everything, but also be confident in yourself and know that the decisions that you are making are yours.
Please stay with me, VK, because we still have another segment to go where you can really drop those gems and words of wisdoms on your investment journey. But before we cut to our last link, I think we've got some questions from our Facebook and engagers. And don't forget that JSE Grand Hamper up for grabs. So I will kickstart off a question, and it's for you, Rolf. And VK Invest, please feel free to answer any questions that come up on our Facebook. Can people still register for the challenge, Rolf?
Yes, even though we approaching August, you can still go and win the August competition, the monthly competition. So please do go and register. If you'd like to register, it's that simple. Just go to university.jsc.co.za, click on register, and you can register yourself. You need to be from the same university or college, and we'd love you to come and join us and play. So please do. I mean, it'll keep you in good stead for come next year again. You'll be able to at least start on a good footing come March. You'll be able to hit the road running. And so practice now, and I think it's a great opportunity for everyone just to learn about the stock market.
I'm just waiting if there'll be any other questions coming up. But from me, let's talk about the annual challenge. Can people still win the annual challenge, Rolf?
Yeah, that's a bit of a sore point for those that are probably listening right now and want to still win. Unfortunately, there are rules in place when it comes to trading each month and making sure that you place those trades. And so there was a cutoff, and unfortunately, anyone that registered today will not be able to qualify for the annual prize. Obviously, there are many teams that have put hours and hours of work into this, and therefore the competition did start in March. But at the end of the day, you are watching, you can still go and win a monthly prize. And I think that's a great prize. And at the end of the day, it's not just about winning, it's about what you can get out of it. And you can see how Dale and Jared have got so much knowledge out of the competition and a great experience. And therefore, no matter whether you win the prize, I would definitely be wanting to learn more about the stock market. And this is a great way to do it.
Beautifully said. Do you have any questions maybe on your side that you'd like to ask VK Invest, Ralph?
Um, Dale talked about studying accounting. After playing the challenge this year, are you going to be doing normal accounting work when you get out there into the real world, or are you looking to maybe go the top route? Dale, maybe.
I'm not too sure about that. At the moment, my passion isn't really with accounting or auditing. I am more interested in the financial sector, but you never know where we'll land up. Jared and I might land up in the mining sector for all we know. It's impossible to know, but I definitely am enjoying learning about investing, and at the moment, it's what I'm passionate about, and hopefully I can use it in the future in some way or another.
Love it.
I think so. Dale and I are both, we both are doing auditing articles. So Dale's at Ernst & Young. I'm signed at Deloitte. So I think for me, it's the accounting degree it's a fantastic grounding into this world.
Yeah.
Because financial statements today are extremely complicated, especially with the advent of more recent standards. So to have that accounting background in terms of making perhaps a more informed fundamental investment decision is fantastic. And I think it's, as we say, that's the Wits edge. They push us hard, and it allows us to I think it's allowed us to have a bit of an edge here as well.
Thank you so much, VK Invest. We'll be coming back with your pearls of wisdom just to wrap up the show. But this is a call to action. If you want to be part of the JSE Investment Challenge, you can go to university@jse.co.za, or if you're younger, schools at jse.co.za. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Mboya Arnold, and you're watching the JSE Investment Challenge. And with me is Ralph Spears, our JSE technical expert. And of course, drum roll, please, without further ado, these are our university monthly winners, and that's VK Invest M8, Dale Novus, and Jared Greenstein. So what I've loved, and for those of you who have been watching the show from the beginning, that we're all here to learn. Nobody is born an investment expert. But what I really loved about our winning team of VK Invest M8 is that they are constantly stumbling on the journey, but yet they have the tenacity and capacity and capability to be this month's winners. So just remind those who are watching, Jared and Dale, about the podcast and the book and the people that have really, really been a part of your investment journey. We'll start off with you, Dale, and your podcasts.
So the podcasts that I listen to are all part of a podcast network called the Investors Podcast, I believe. There's one that I really enjoy, which is called We Study Billionaires.
Wow.
It's mainly around like value investing. There's also one called Millennial Investing, which is for millennials, how to invest and just all around knowledge around the investing space. yeah, that's for me been a great resource and helped me so much.
Love it. Jared?
So as I said earlier, the book that I've absolutely loved has been Stock Charts for Dummies.
Yes.
Even so, really, I think it's pitched at a great place. Been and just has wonderful knowledge. Even some TV shows, Talking Technicals on Business Day TV. That's on I think twice a week. So a lot of real gems I think that I've picked up, some real good pieces of advice. I think the chief of which is the slogan, "Don't chase momentum."
Wow.
So if you miss the original run, don't try and just jump on the bandwagon. And it goes right back to what Ralph said earlier, that the market is an emotional being.
Yeah.
But having said that, you need to, as an investor, try to stay calm and make a rational decision instead of just trying to jump on the gold train or the platinum train or whatever the train.
I really am so proud of the two of you, and thank you for being so generous with your insights and wisdoms and your learning curve. Really, rock stars. It's a yes from me, okay? Ralph, in closing, so could you, if we do have an announcement of that winner, and just your demystifying of investments, and once again, could you reiterate really what we're trying to achieve with the JSE Investment Challenge?
Great. I'd like to start off with announcing the prize for that voucher. I mean, that basket, JSE gift basket. Basically, we're going to go with Mogammed Iland. It's Alroy Iland. And for his contribution to today's comments. So thanks very much to that.
Congratulations.
We will be in touch with you. Then it comes to, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is trying to assist the youth of South Africa to understand financial literacy. And so I'd like to encourage all of you that are listening today to start. If you're not at university or not at college, you've already finished that, then, start in the market, start small, but do start, because at the end of the day, if you can create these habits, the earlier in life, hopefully when you get that large sums of money, you will know what to do with it. And, we would like to see a more wealthier society in this country. And so therefore, this is a great tool to use.
I really couldn't do this show without you. That was Ralph Spears, our JSE technical expert. Thank you so much. And a bigger thank you and congratulations to VK Invest M8. You guys are awesome. Congratulations, and keep pushing to be the leaders on the scoreboard. Thank you so much. And to the viewers, thank you so much. And to those of you who are watching us on Facebook, I hope just like myself, you're feeling just a little bit more empowered about your investment journey. And you know what? We all have to start somewhere. So from me, Subi Mboya Arnold, thank you so much for tuning in. And I always like to leave with the words of Benjamin Franklin: an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Let me do that again. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. All right, stay home, stay safe, and save lives. Bye, everyone.